So some people think that barbecue's a bit rustic. Well, I don't personally think so, and to show it, I'm going to show you all the tricks and the tips on how to make this amazing confit lamb shank. So whether or not you've been to this channel many times before, or you're brand new to it, I am so pleased that you've chosen to join me on this video. So confit is a French style of cooking, and basically that makes it posh in my book. And today see, what you do is, whether or not it's going to be a lamb shank or a duck leg, you cook it completely submerged in that oil, and by doing that it gets all soft, it gets luxurious in its taste and its and the texture. It is absolutely stunning. So by putting it in the smoker and doing it low and slow, and I do mean low and slow, we are going to elevate this thing to the next level. What we've done to this point, so we've got our lamb shanks here, and all I've done, and I did this last night, is basically covered them or sprinkled them in sea salt, and then I've covered them in cling film to stop them oxidizing, and I've put them in the fridge overnight. Now, covering in salt, what that does is basically start to extract all that water and all that moisture out of these shanks. So the first thing we need to do is just rinse these off. We want to get that excess salt off, so I'm going to quickly pop inside and do that. Okay, so I've rinsed this off now, and you can see the meat is actually starting to darken up. So that's where that salt is starting to extract that moisture and almost start preserving that meat, and that is perfect. It's exactly what we want. So the next thing we're going to do is just puncture some holes into the actual shank itself, and what that's going to help do is the oil just penetrate through that skin and help cook that inside a little bit more evenly. Right, okay, so that's done. So you got to get yourself a oven proof dish. So basically I'm going to put the lamb shank down in that. You need to make sure the rim of the dish is above your lamb shank, so we're going to put those in like that. Next, so what I've made here is a kind of like a herb bundle. So I've got a bit of thyme, rosemary and sage, and these all go so fantastically well with lamb. And what this is going to do is infuse the oil, infuse the fat with all these lovely herb flavors, and then that's going to go into the meat itself. So to get this started, I'm just going to wring its neck a bit, and what that's going to do, give it a bit of beat up a little bit, and what that's going to do is start getting all those oils coming out of those herbs and start infusing your straight away. Next thing I'm going to do is take a bowl of garlic and just literally cut this in half. Take off as much paper as you possibly can do. There's a few loose half a bowl, just bung those in, it doesn't matter. All we're going to do again, we're trying to infuse as much flavour into that fat as possible. And then this bit we'll stick over here. Perfect. Okay, so that's basically our base. The next thing we're going to do is add our goose fat. Now goose fat, this is the biggest so goose fat is a beautiful thing. If you've not used it on roast potatoes, you need to get it in your life. But basically what we're going to do, and I've got quite a few jars, so hopefully I've got enough, is just pour this all over the lamb shank. So cut back to me doing all this once I've done this. Okay, so that is pretty much covered the lamb shank. I don't mind it poking out a tiny little bit, because when that starts to cook through, that's going to shrink down, so I know that will go completely under the fat. So in the beginning of this video you saw that I put the lamb shanks in a glass dish and then covered that with oil, and I made the comment at the time, said don't worry, as long as it's covered it doesn't really matter, and I was expecting those lamb shanks to shrink down so they'd actually be under the oil. As it turns out, I should have thought this, when the meat contracted, it actually went that way and therefore got fatter, so they actually stuck out of the oil even more. So what I've done is that I've got a second pot, and I've just transferred them and the oil and all the garlic and the herbs into that and carried on cooking, and it's cooking an awful lot better. So learn from my mistakes, don't do what I did, and make sure you do cover them properly in that duck fat. You can see here it's pretty much submerged. Now you may be wondering why I've put everything in cold and the smoker I've not even turned on yet. Now when Traegers and all pellets grills in general, when they start up they produce quite a lot of dirty smoke because obviously they're getting that fire going, and I want to capture that. So a lot of, in barbecue you're really aiming for clean smokes, particularly on offsets, but when you want to get that extra boost of smoke flavour, it's not a bad thing to stick it in at the beginning, and then it captures some of that smoke and that'll transfer into flavour on. You don't want dirty smoke the whole way, but at the start, perfect, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And also, as I'm going to put it in heating up, I'm going to stick it in and get that up to temperature as soon as possible, because we've got all the fat and we've got the cold meat, so it's going to take a bit of time to actually get up to the point where this fat is properly started to melt and bubble and then starting to the cooking process. So initially I'm going to put this on at 275 because I want to get that temperature up as soon as possible. But once this has started to bubble and once it's started to actually cook the lamb, then I'm going to turn it right down to 225, put the super smoke on, and then we're just going to let it rumble. Now I've no idea how long this is going to take. Every cut of meat is different. You know, a duck may take, I don't know, three hours. This may take 5 hours. I've no idea. But what I'm going to keep doing throughout the whole cook process is just keep an eye on it and just make sure that it's getting nice and tender, and when it's literally fall apart and succulent as you like, that's when I'll take it off. Right, so let's stick this Traeger on and I'll cut back to you in a bit. So I just want to say a quick word from today's sponsors, which is Cooking Pellets. Cooking Pellets are fantastic. They are such good quality pellets. They've got a wide range of products from cherry to oak to hickory to their own blends, and they've also got 20 kilos and 5 kilo bags, so lots of choice for you there. I'll leave their link in the description down below. Please go and check them out. I highly recommend them. Okay, so these lamb shanks have been on for about 5 hours now. So originally, just to recap, we put them into a glass dish. That was wrong, we corrected that. Temperature wise, originally I put it in at 350 to get a temperature up so the fat started to bubble and get up to temperature and cook the lamb shanks. Then we turned it down to 275 and I've kept it there pretty much for the entire cook. I did drop it to 225 towards the end just to get that extra bit of smoke element on there once I thought they were pretty much done, just to finish off. Let's get one of these bad boys out. This is going to be hot, so I have got heat gloves under these as well. Let's get one of these out. Wow, you know it's cooked. Look at that. And get the other one out as well. Oh my giddy aunt. That looks incredible. There's nothing, literally I'm squeezing them and they are falling apart. There is just no give at all in that. Let's have a closer look. Now I'm just going to pick one of these up and just see how tender it is. Look, it is just melting in your mouth. That is falling apart. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget, if you like it, give it the old thumbs up. If you love it, please subscribe to the channel. Now on the channel there are loads of videos now. Please go and check those out. And if you've got any thoughts, any suggestions, any questions, please feel free to leave those down in the comments below. I'll always respond to somebody who's taken the time to reach out to me, and I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. But until then, I'll see you in the next video.